Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is words of the day number 4 and the theme is places. So let's break it down. A place is makan. 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 In plural, for places, amakin. Amakin. There's the alif in front, and we say amakin. Amakin. So let's start with the first word, airport. Matar. 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 And it comes from the root verb tara, which means to fly. Tara. And so the place where you go to fly is matar. Library is maktaba. Maktaba. And we don't pronounce the ta marbuta because we're just talking about the word alone, but when it shows up in a sentence, it's going to have some haraka on it, and it's going to be pronounced. But in this case, it's maktaba, and it comes from the root verb kataba, which means to write. So maktaba is a place where you go to write, or where there's an abundance of writings or books, and that's the library. Next is bank. And we've just Arabized this, and we use the word bank a lot, but it's a little shorter. It's bank, not bank. Bank. It's the most popular word, but the more classical way of saying bank is masraf. Masraf. Masraf, which comes from the root verb sarafa, to spend money, or in the case of currency, you exchange currency. And so, sarafa is also used for that. It's the more classical and more native word to Arabic. Next is bakery. Makhbaz. 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 And it comes from the root verb khabaza, which means to bake. Khabaza. And so the place where you bake is makhbaz. Bridge is jisr. 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 And it comes from the root verb jasara, which means to cross, or in the metaphorical sense, to face your fear, to muster up the courage. And that's, in the metaphorical sense, you crossing over your fear. But in this case, it's a bridge. Let's look at mosque. Masjid. Masjid. Masjid, which comes from the root verb sajada, which means to prostrate. And so the place where you go to prostrate is masjid. For church, it's kanisa or kanis. Kanisa, kanisa or kanis. And kanisa is usually used for Christian churches, and kanis is used for a synagogue, or the place where Jewish people worship. And it has a root in Greek or Syrianic, so it's not an actual Arabic word. Next is coffee shop. Maqha. 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 And it comes from the word qahwa, which is coffee, and maqha is where you go and drink your coffee. Next is hospital. Mashfa or mustashfa. Mustashfa is the more popular word, but both of them are interchangeable. Now, they both come from the root verb shafiya, which means he healed. And so mashfa is the place where you heal, and mustashfa is the place where you receive healing. So one note before we go. To get the word for the place where an action happens, there are some rules that you can follow in order to derive that word. Get the root verb in the past tense, such as for masjid, sajada. Then we add a mim with a fatha to the front. Ma. We added it here. And then add sukoon on the second letter. We added the sukoon on the seam. Add fatha or kasra on the third letter. And for masjid, it's a kasra. And it should follow this pattern from the verb to do. مفعل أو مفعل. مفعل أو مفعل. So if we go up here, we see مصرف, which sounds like مفعل for the verb to do. مخبز sounds like مفعل from the verb to do. And you'll see different things such as, different patterns such as مطار, right? So it doesn't have a sukoon on here because an alif follows. Maktaba has a ta marbuta at the end. Jisr is basically the active participle. It's kind of like saying it's a crossing, right? Rather than calling it a bridge, you call it a crossing. It's a place where crossing happens, but it's used as a name for a place or a name of a thing. So you'll see different variations, but the main variation for getting a place is to follow these rules. And that's it. Have a great day.